I have been in my new apartment for about a month and a half, and I still haven't bought a single new plant for this space, which I think is criminal. It's time to change that. So we're gonna go to the garden center, look at some plants, and hopefully find a plant or two to bring back home. I have a garden center about a 30-minute walk away from my apartment. I've never actually been to that garden center, so I have no idea if they have good stuff or not, but we're gonna go together and check it out. So let's go.
Don't you know that I got you? Quit it up with this nonsense. They don't know about a thing. 잠깐 쉬어가도 돼. 내게 빌려줄게. 네 속도에 맞출게. Baby, let's go for a ride. 쓸데없는 생각은 뒤로 한 채. Boy, don't you know it's true. We're gonna go with you all night.
Croatia, unfortunately, doesn't have the biggest garden centers or plant shops, so there wasn't a huge selection in this garden center, but the plants in there looked really healthy. I haven't stumbled upon any that looked diseased or pest-ridden or underwatered or overwatered. Overall, they were looking pretty good. Now, this could also just be due to them having a fresh shipment, but either way, they had some really stunning plants, some pretty big plants, and I was tempted by a couple. However, most of these were pretty basic, I would say, and plants I already own or owned and don't really have an interest in as of right now. This Triangularis was tempting though, because mine is not looking that great. I acquired the goods, and now it's time to head on home and do a little haul of what I got. I got way more than I should have. Whoops. I just got back home and I made myself a nice little matcha latte because it is already so freaking hot outside. I bought some plants. I bought 3 plants in particular. I only wanted to buy one, and of course I ended up buying more than I expected to because this is me. And I did walk home with these plants, and I definitely got some funny looks while walking down the street with my hands full of these plants. Basic bitches cannot understand the trial and tribulations of the Planned Parent life. Let's do a haul. First thing that I want to show you is this cutie little Rhipsalis. Google says that this is a Rhipsalis pilocarpa. On the little tag, it only says Rhipsalis mix, but this was $3.90. $3.90, like that's nothing. I really couldn't pass it up. I actually don't have a single Rhipsalis in my collection. Not by choice, because I really do love Rhipsalis. I don't really see them in stores. When I see them, they are usually quite expensive, so I'm really happy that I stumbled upon this cutie. This particular specimen was actually off to the side from the other ones. The other ones were a lot smaller, and I really like this one because it's already starting to trail a little bit. I really like the fuzzies on this plant. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but it is fuzzy, and y'all know if you've been on my channel that I absolutely love fuzzy plants and I love trailing plants. From what I know about Rhipsalis, these are pretty easy on the whole. I know that they are quite drought tolerant. I do think they require quite a bit of light though. I will probably be keeping this on my Vitsio shelf. My Vitsio shelf does have Burina T5 lights running throughout the whole thing. I definitely want to repot this plant as soon as possible because right now it's just in that really dense peat moss mix, which I absolutely hate. I would repot all of these plants right away, but but unfortunately, I still didn't bring my plant mixes and my pots and stuff from home. So yeah, I'm not able to repot as of yet, but I will definitely be repotting all of these plants at some point. That's the Ripsalis pilocarpa, I believe. If Google is wrong, please correct me in the comments down below. And then the second plant is a plant that I wanted for a couple of months now. Plant that I never found intriguing or interesting. It was never a plant that was on my radar. I saw these so many times. This is such a common plant, and that is the ponytail palm. I don't know why, but lately I have been really interested in owning one of these plants. I am really growing up when it comes to my plant collecting. I really like having hardy, resilient plants that I can keep for years and years and years. While I do need a mix of both easy and challenging plants just to keep this hobby interesting on the whole, I found that my collection was leaning more towards the difficult side. That was just causing me a lot of stress and ultimately burnout. Decided to downsize some of my diva plants and instead get really hardy plants. And I think that the ponytail palm is a really hardy, easy care plant. And I have just been really wanting to add some more weirdo and unique plants to my collection. I don't have anything like this. And in particular, the reason why I love the ponytail palm isn't really the foliage, although it is pretty, but it is the trunk of the plant. I really love a sculptural element in a plant, and this plant definitely has that sculptural element to it. I am really excited to grow this plant, and I'm actually gonna be putting this plant in my south-facing window. I actually want this specimen to get pretty good conditions, hopefully size up and mature. This is one of those plants that I would really love to see in like a decade or 2 or 3 in my collection. I want to see how it will evolve, how it will change. Obviously, these are very slow growing plants, so it's gonna be a long journey, but it is a journey that I'm really excited about, and I feel like this could be a really cool legacy or heritage plant. I don't plan on having kids, so I don't know who I would give this plant to. I'm just really curious to see how it will do in my collection. This one was 17 euros, so it was the most expensive plant. I probably could have gotten a ponytail palm for a cheaper price. This one was the biggest specimen in the store. I really love the shape of both the trunk and the leaves. I am not mad at that price at all. She does have a couple of bent leaves, and like some of these like little pups aren't looking that great. Overall, I'm really happy with this find. And this was actually the plant that I wanted to get from this store. I'm really happy to have it in my collection. It's funny how my perspective on houseplants has shifted so much over the years, and now I'm loving plants like the ponytail palm that I thought were boring and basic. And it really shows you the growth that not only your plants go through in life, but we ourselves as plant parents go through. Now, the last plant, and the one that I am arguably the most excited about, is this little guy. And I'm actually not sure what this is. Google gave me a couple of different results. It said that it might be a bellflower plant or a lipstick plant. Upon initially seeing this plant, I definitely thought that it was a lipstick plant of some type. I don't know if this is just some kind of variety of a lipstick plant. The lady in the store said that this was a Hoya, which I definitely don't believe that this is a Hoya. She also told another lady that a Rhaphidophora decursiva was a philodendron. So like, so much for her expertise. I don't know why garden centers just don't use proper labels and naming when it comes to their plants. This one just says small plant. What does that mean? mean? What does that mean? What kind of plant? How am I supposed to take care of a plant if I don't know what the plant wants from me? I luckily have a lot of experience with plants, and this is a very thick-leafed plant. I would assume that it acts like a Hoya or a lipstick plant. The reason why I wanted this plant is just because of the movement. Like, look at that. It's such a fun little trailer. Not all trailing plants have this nice fluid motion to their movements. Some can be pretty like rigid. If you've been on my channel for any amount of time, you know that my all-time favorite plant is my Hoya linearis. I love that plant. In particular, I love that plant because of the way it moves, because of the way it flows. I got a pretty similar vibe from this plant. I'm not really that fussed about the ID, but I am curious to see what this is. I guess we will find out once it blooms. If it has lipstick blooms, we know it's a lipstick plant. If it has Hoya blooms, we know it's a Hoya, but I'm pretty sure this is not a Hoya. I would be very surprised if this was a Hoya. Y'all, this was only €5. €5, which is about 6 maybe US dollars. I really just love this plant. My plan is to hang this somewhere, again, in my south-facing window. I wanted some plants for my bedroom mainly, so the ponytail palm and this one will definitely go into my bedroom. You have some lovely south-facing windows over there, so these plants will get a lot of light, and I want to blast this plant in particular with a lot of light because I want this thing to be just so bushy, just a trailing bush of beauty. Hopefully get it to bloom so we can actually find out what it is. But like, do you see like just the movement of the plant? I absolutely love it, and I love the leaves on it. They are very, very simple, but I do like a simple, dark, glossy leaf. Another reason why I'm really attracted to this plant is because it reminds me of one of my favorite wishlist plants, which I think is the goldfish plant. I will put like the Latin name on the screen. On Planned Parenthood, Charmaine has one of those plants, and it is stunning. I have been searching the whole wide net for that plant. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find it anywhere. I found it in one, I think, Romanian store. It was sold out. This plant gives me similar vibes to that one. So again, I am excited to have this plant. So that was my little haul. I want to take these plants to the shower and give them a nice clean. I definitely want to treat these because obviously garden center plants are very susceptible to all sorts of pests. Although I'm really not that worried about pests. I already have them. Anyway, I'm gonna go do that, and then we're gonna find a spot for these plants. Unfortunately, I don't have like any pretty cover pots with me. They will have to stay in their ugly nursery pots. We will fix that in the future. Okay, I'm gonna spray these plants down. I'm just gonna go ahead and use a Castile soap mix solution. I have some peppermint Castile soap and some tea tree Castile soap mixed with water, of course, and I'm just gonna go ahead and douse these plants. I did give them a really, really good check over. I didn't see any pests, and I'm definitely gonna be monitoring these plants for at least the first couple of weeks to see if any pest activity will emerge. Hopefully not. Okay, there is this one, and I just love when you like wash your plants because they look just so pretty and clean. Next, we're gonna do the cutie ripsalis, and again, same thing, just douse the hoe, give her a good wash. Now, I will be putting this on my video shelf, which is very infested with thrips. I do suspect that the thrips will attack this one eventually. I'm really not worried about the whole thrips situation anymore. I feel like every plant parent out there has a kryptonite pest. For some it's spider mites, for some it's mealybugs, and for me, it's thrips. Ripsalis, she is done. And then last but certainly not least, the ponytail palm. I think that these things are pretty susceptible to pests. I feel like plants like this with like really kind of dainty leaves tend to be pest magnets. This might even be like a spider mite magnet. I don't know, just from feeling the leaves, I feel like spider mites would have quite a field day on this plant. It's very satisfying to play with this plant. Like, this is just so, I mean, it's kind of erotic. But it's also so satisfying. But these leaves are sharp. Good God, like you can easily cut yourself with these. Holy moly. Okay, I did actually manage to find a cover pot that my landlords left behind for the little Ripsalis, and I really actually like this cover pot. It's red, it matches the rest of my little apartment, and looking at it now, I actually don't have a lot of red cover pots, so I think that adding a little bit of a different color scheme to my cover pots could be really, really nice. And I'm gonna put the plant itself down over here. I think that's a good spot. It has a Barina light directly above it. We will see how it will do, but I would really like if this would push out a little bit. I always have such a difficult time finding appropriate plants for this lower section of my IKEA Vitro shelf. Plants need to be small so they can fit in here, and they actually need to be looking nice from the top because obviously I viewed them from top down. So I think this is gonna be a nice spot for this plant. Unfortunately, I don't have a cute cover pot situation for the ponytail palm, so I'm just gonna put this like this on my little windowsill. As mentioned before, this is a south-facing window. Unfortunately, it's not the biggest window. Like, I wish this whole wall was just windows. Imagine how many plants I could grow. I was actually fantasizing about what if I were to own this apartment. I would for sure build a little greenhouse, glass house situation on the balcony because this balcony gets blasted with so much light. It would be gorgeous, but unfortunately, I do not own this apartment. And then for this cutie, I obviously also don't have a proper cover pot. I thought about putting like a little ceiling hook. This isn't like long enough for it to get good light. So I'm probably gonna look into getting either like a cute pot or a macrame hanger so I can drill it and have it hanging in front of the window. As of right now, I am just gonna put this over here on this little IKEA room divider so we can just chill and hang out here, and it's still gonna get plenty of light, especially in the morning. So I think this plant will be happy here. Of course, if I notice that it needs more light, I can always move it out to my Vitro shelf. This does look a little bit silly, I'm not gonna lie, but I think it's gonna be fine. I think it's gonna be fine. Thank you so much for accompanying me on my little garden center trip. Mistakes were certainly made, but I would say they are positive mistakes. Once again, let me know in the comments if you have any care tips about these plants or if you know the proper ID of these plants. I would really appreciate that. And let me know if you bought any new plants this year thus far and which ones did you get. I would love to hear from you. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!